Want to go deeper with Lobbing Scorchers? You know, scratch under the surface, get down even dirtier than we already get? Become a YouTube member. Sometimes things just get a little too spicy, a little too weird, and a little too loose for the general public. And you know, the people to see that are YouTube members. We're talking about exclusive bonus videos, the podcast after show, exclusive written content, and little bits and pieces of information before the unwashed masses know about it. As a member, you not only get access to all of this amazing content, you get a badge next to your name and a slew of amazing emotes to use, not only in our live stream chat, but also in our comment section. And yes, we do have an emote for Jesus Ferreira, Go Snack, and Paul Rothrock. This is the best way to help keep us independent and keep us building out this crazy YouTube brand that we call Lobbing Scorchers. Hit the join button down below or hit the link in the top of our description if you're on mobile to join the ranks and become a Lobbing Scorchers YouTube member.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome in to a very special episode of Lobbing Scorchers Kickoff. It is Leagues Cup final match day. Seattle Sounders, in just a few hours' time, are going to be taking on Inter Miami, Lionel Messi, and the Barca Boys at Lumen Field with silverware on the line. One of the biggest games in the history of the club, I think it's fair to say. I think we might talk about later exactly where this kind of ranks in that pantheon. But needless to say, it's a big day for the Seattle Sounders. We're going to be hanging out here this morning, previewing the matchup, breaking down our favorite matchups. I don't know about predictions, but we'll be talking about how we think the game is going to go, or at least how it could go. I'm not a big predictions guy, but Nico is going to be hopping on here in just a few minutes. Noah's supposed to show up at some point, but to start here, I'm going to be running it solo. I think I'm going to rip the Schmetzer presser in a second here from yesterday while we wait for people to trickle in. But I think for the most part, it's just going to be hanging out one more time before this game, which it's going to be huge, guys. I mean, last I checked, 65,000 plus tickets sold. We could be talking about a situation where it gets up towards that 69,000 mark where it was for the CCC final. I don't know, but I know it's 65 plus. It's going to be crazy. Messi in the building, Luis Suarez in the building, Sergio Busquets. I mean, you guys know. You guys already know. So thanks for tuning in, and hopefully this can serve as just like a sort of send off before we all see each other on the other side. If everyone watching could go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I know there's been a lot more people than usual tuning in to our stuff, given that Seattle is now playing Inter Miami. So if you're among those people, drop us a sub, like the video. LobbingScorchers.com/sauce, LobbingScorchers.com/archive. Become a YouTube member. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok. I gotta say, you know, I've been keeping track of not just the national pundits, but the sentiment from opposing fan bases and from, you know, just random fans around the world who, whenever Messi's involved, you get a lot of those types of eyeballs on it, and no one's fancying the Seattle Sounders' chances much in this game. I thought who the favorite was debatable. We're going to talk about that. I thought it was debatable, at least. You know, I get it. One team has Lionel Messi and the Barca Boys, and one team doesn't. But, you know, one team's got the game at home. One team's been in better form in the tournament, at least by like record and goals scored and differential and stuff. One team's going to have 60,000 plus behind. You know, there's reasons why the home team could have an argument as a favorite in this situation, but the national pundits, Inter Miami fans, other random fan bases around the league, I'm seeing a lot of Seattle's going to get crushed. Messi's going to destroy you. Sounders don't stand a chance. Okay, all right. Not here to argue. Not here to argue with anybody. I get why people are saying it. I'm just saying. If people expect you to win and are guaranteeing that you're going to win, you better not lose. It kind of gives this feeling of I don't want to say house money. I've steered away from that term a little bit. But when everyone expects you to lose, I think it has a way of taking off some of the pressure. I guess I'm just I was a little surprised at how split that was. And not even split. I think every national pundit I've seen has predicted Inter Miami to win this game. And the analysis seems to come down to they have Lionel Messi. Therefore, they're guaranteed to win. Which maybe. But I don't know if it's that cut and dry. Miami, they have lost games before. There is precedent for that. Can be done. So I guess we're just gonna have to see. We're gonna find out. 5 p.m. Pacific kickoff, probably gonna be more like 5:20 or so. We're gonna be ripping this preview show for about an hour or two, and then we're gonna be heading down to Pioneer Square pretty early. Probably get some tats, delicatessen to start it off. Filming some content. If you see us down there, feel free to say hi. And then also, Fast Fashion Brewery, 2 p.m. Pre-match party. Hold on, let me pull up the flyer. That's right. We are hosting pre-match party, Fast Fashion Brewery in Soto. You can see the address right there. We've had events there before. They have hosted Sounder at Heart many a time. We're going to get there around 2 p.m. It says kickoff 4 p.m. That's technically incorrect. But I think I'm planning on heading into the stadium a little aggressively early. But we will be at Fast Fashion around 2 o'clock. If you are in the area, want to come say hi, drink a beer. I won't be drinking any beer because got to attend this match in a working capacity, but people there will be drinking beers, and I encourage you all to drink beers with us at Fast Fashion. It's going to be fun. Definitely don't be shy. As always, if you guys got any questions, topics, thoughts, predictions, observations, agendas, grievances, feel free to drop them in chat. Get to as many as I can. And I think right now, while we keep waiting for people to trickle in and wait for Nico, who should be here in a few minutes, I'm gonna rip this Schmetzer presser from yesterday. See what the coach has to say. Kind of let's see what his vibe is. Let's see what his vibe. Is he gonna seem nervous? It's a big game. Tense. I mean, we've all seen the now famous quote. Messi is the greatest player the sport has ever seen, but we have Paul Rothrock. So he didn't seem nervous there, but this is more official presser. He's at like the podium. This isn't at training. So let's check in on Schmetz, and then we'll take it from there.
Welcome everyone to this official press conference, Leagues Cup 2025, ahead of the final between Seattle Sounders and Inter Miami. Today, we welcome head coach Brian Schmetzer from the Seattle Sounders, and subsequently we'll bring midfielder Christian Roldan. Thank you very much. Any opening statements?
Nope.
All right, we'll start with questions here.
You know, Brian, yesterday, I guess it was, you made a statement about how, they have Messi, but we have Paul Rothrock and a whole bunch of other, local kids. But, taking the sort of like the funny contrast of that aside, there is it does say something about the way that the rosters are built. That they have a lot of international talent, big names. You guys do not have necessarily the same level of big name players. You have a lot of players who have, been in MLS for a while, that have come through the system, that have gotten really great results in their own right. And I guess if you could just speak to the contrast in sort of philosophies when it comes to roster building between these two teams and how that sort of might manifest itself in the game.
Look, I think that's been written about on both sides. There's 30 teams in the league. Each one does it differently. Some are maybe grouped over here and some are grouped over here. Look, my personal feeling on our roster build was, Albert was the last piece to get us over the Champions League qualification.
Recording in progress.
The way Garth did it when Tam came in, and now there's, different rules, U22s, everything's always evolving. We had Clint Dempsey and Oba and, more recently, Nico and Raul. There's not to say that, when some guys age out, we might not go back. We might go back to getting an established star. We might do that. Everything's cyclical. What I'm proud about with this roster is that Craig's done a good job, because nobody really talks about Jesus and Paul, Albert, like I mentioned, Pedro's finding his feet, Jordan, Christian, they've all been a part of many championship teams. Steph Fry could be the best, signing this club has ever made at the end of the day. That was back when Ziggy and Tommy were talking about goalkeepers. So the thing I'm most proud of is, we do it differently. Everybody does it differently. But yes, the young kids have shown up. And specifically, the names I mentioned, look, Paul is great. Jackson's great. Snyder's got potential. Obed's getting a lot of press because of his talent. Just Danny Leyva having some good performances. The list goes on. And, being from the Northwest, seeing local kids grow up similar to what happened in my time, with Mark Peterson, Jeff Stock, Jeff Durgan, then Chance and, Billy Crook and everybody else, Jimmy McAllister leading us off. I can't forget him, but Pacific Northwest has produced quite a few really good soccer players.
Brian, you stressed to us that you're not a defensive coach, and yet, and defense is non-negotiable. But talking to your players today, the messagings, they understand and embrace the opportunity that they're going to have to play some defense in this game, and then, see if the counterattack can.
Well, hopefully it's not just counterattacks. Hopefully we do extend some possessions, because the less time Messi has on the ball, the less chances he has to score. But it's not just Messi. It's DePaul, it's Busquets, it's Alba, it's Suarez. It's, look, Segovia's goal against Orlando, the last goal was really good. They've got some young kids that have played well. Kramashi, scored some goals for them. So it's going to take a lot of smart defending. And what I mean by that is higher up the field, if we can press effectively, that leads to turnovers, and that's an area that they have concerns about on their side of the thing, on the ball. So our defending has different meanings. We're not going to try and be pushed back for the entire game, but it certainly is going to be one of the key things is keeping Suarez and Alba and Messi and Busquets and Paul and Segovia off the score sheet.
Hi, Coach. How are you? Back here. This is a question about yourself. I wanted to ask you, given all the players that you have out and all the injuries through the season, what would you rank as yourself? Is this your best coach job that you've done, given all these casualties, to put it in that way?
It's an interesting question. I think with a few more years of reflection, I think it might be right up there. We have lost a significant amount of time with our designated players. We had Yaimar and Jackson, and then Ryan Kent, and João Paulo, and, Steph with his concussion and everything. I will take 30 seconds to compliment, the coaching staff. I think Preki, again, was coach of the year in MLS at some point in his career. He's excellent coach. Freddie Juarez could have any job in this league. I'm confident of that. Andy will be a head coach at some point in his career. And Tommy Dutra is an excellent coach. And I label him all the time as just a goalkeeper coach, but that's not only who he is. He helps us with the build out in the back, playing out from the back on goal kicks, and our initial starting point with how we want to possess the ball. So the staff has done an incredible job of giving these players the tools to be successful. And I'm very proud of them too.
Coach, with the suspension of Nuhu, are you going to change your formation to maybe a back three? How are you going to approach your left side of the defense?
Well, you really want me to answer that? I mean, look, Javier probably knows who I'm going to start anyway. With film these days and everything, there's usually not many surprises, but we are going to be true to who we are. Look, we brought a third center back later in the game to close the game out down in LA. That's certainly a possibility, but I have full confidence in the players that step on the field that are starters. And then if we need to change the game somehow through substitutions, fresh legs, whatever, I have that at my disposal as well.
We'll take one via Zoom. Jada, take it away, and then we'll go back here to the room. Give me just 1 second. There we go. Go ahead, Jada.
Thank you. Thanks for the time, Brian. Can you talk a little bit about Pedro and just his progression? And do you notice any more excitement from him as far as being able to play this game against such a star from his country?
Sure. He was excited about playing games in the Club World Cup. He just has a joy about him when he plays. You can see it in his smile and his face, before he cut his hair, and maybe that's why he's playing a little better. But, when he had his longer hair, he would run and the hair was flowing and he smile on his face, and technically he's excellent on the ball. So, he looked like he was having a lot of passion in how he plays. He'll bring that again tomorrow, I'm sure. Part of it is just who he is, but of course, everyone, and not just Pedro. Christian's going to be excited, and Reed is going to be excited, and Yaimar and Jackson and Osaze, they're all going to be excited to play against Messi.
We'll take 2 follow-up questions here in the room. Jeremiah?
Just any injury updates you can provide. I know there was some mystery concern earlier in the week, and if you could just
no mystery concern, but I will give you this little tidbit, Jeremiah, since you asked. I am going to have Albert Rusnak on the bench.
Hey, Ryan. I'm sure you could talk about all of your players, but Jesus Ferreira's, his versatility, he's played different positions. That has to take soccer sense and then some skill as well. Can you just talk about how smart he is as a soccer player?
Yeah, it's when we're comparing notes, and the messaging to our team this morning was, we've done a lot of good things this year, this season. We played against some big teams, PSG, Atletico, Botafogo. And what did we do well? And one of those things is, Miami has a lot of experience. Okay, they have a lot of players that have played at the highest levels, but we were able to compete against teams at the highest level in the Club World Cup. We've had players, Jesus, I'll answer your question. He's played in a World Cup. He's played in a knockout World Cup game as a starter. Christian's had a lot of, experiences, and Yaimar and Jackson, and maybe it's not at the highest levels like, Suarez and Messi and DePaul and all those guys, but, we've shown that we can compete. So Jesus brings that little bit of, experience. He's certainly a very smart soccer player, both on and off the ball, and we're lucky to have him.
We'll have time for one more.
Sure.
Jeremiah.
We haven't seen it a lot, but it does seem like Osaze and Jesus have sort of started to form a neat little partnership up there. And the fact that they have a similar background in that they both are the son of players who are themselves peers. What is that? What have you seen with their interchange and sort of the way that they play off one another that seems to be working?
It's an interesting saying. I never really thought about that they're sons of famous footballers. And I don't know if they've connected on that level. I'm sure they probably talk about it in the locker room. I'm sure they share experiences. But, what I would say about them is you've got Jesus, again, to Maz's question, a really smart soccer player. He can play with Jordan. He can play with Albert. He can play with Moose. He can play with a lot of guys. And then you have not the counterbalance, I wouldn't say, but just the young kid who's making the most of his opportunity, who's so full of vim and vigor, and he's just like he's just, his ears and eyes are open. He's sucking in all the information, and for a guy like Jesus, who's a little more cerebral, it's kind of fun to play with. You got a guy who would do everything you ask for and then some. And so I think you're seeing out of Osaze, just kid has a lot of confidence. I'll give him that. And, he's just making the most of his opportunity.
With that last question, we close our
Thanks,
press
everybody.
conference and thank Coach
Thank you.
Brian Schmetzer. Thank you.
There you go. That was the Schmetz presser from yesterday. Final presser before Leagues Cup final match day, which is today. I think the biggest news from that, which I'm sure many of you heard yesterday, but Albert Rusnak will be available for this game. He's going to be coming off the bench. So we'll see if he ends up getting some run. It's not the easiest scenario to be coming in as a sub your first game back after a pretty lengthy injury absence, but it's good that he's back available, and that's in Schmetz's back pocket should he need to go to it. But overall, I would say the vibe of the team, the vibe of the coach, everyone seems like they've got their heads in the right space, saying all the right things. There doesn't seem to be this like kind of shock and awe of the moment, which I think that's what you kind of want to avoid. You can both be excited and relishing the opportunity to play against these guys, to play against Lionel Messi, but also stay within yourself, and maintain that sort of belief of like, I think it can sound silly when you're playing players like this, but like, the belief of, yeah, we have to deal with Lionel Messi and Luis Suarez and Sergio Busquets and Jordi Alba, but they got to deal with us. That's how they should be thinking of it, and I think that's how they are thinking of it. Like Schmetz was joking around when he was saying, "But we have Paul Rothrock, we have this guy, that guy." But like that is, in all seriousness, how you need to go into it. They got to deal with Pedro de la Vega. That hasn't gone super well for a lot of other teams in Leagues Cup. I'm looking forward to see what he can do in this game. I think what's been so encouraging about how he's played over this last stretch is it's not just that he's been scoring a bunch of goals. It's that like there have been these big moments not just in Leagues Cup, but in like games like the Atlanta game, for instance. There's moments where you need your star players and you need your DPs to step up. And he has been up for that so far in this tournament. So he's going to have to do it again today if Seattle's going to win this game. Messi is only one guy. When Seattle is in the final, the whole team is a different beast. That has been true in the past. They've never been in a situation quite like this. This is a very unique situation. Kind of can't believe still that the team is in this situation. But I don't know. Like, we've been talking about kind of how not just the matchup, but like the symbolism of the matchup, right? Two contrasting ways of doing it. You got a team that's built around the collective. And you got a team that's signed like 4 of the top 15 best players of all time or whatever, including the number 1 best player of all time. Which is that's a valid way to do it. If you're trying to be successful in MLS, signing Messi and the Barca Boys, I can't fault that strategy. Can't fault the approach. It's just different. It's a different way of doing it than the team they're playing, right? So that's what makes this even better than just 2 good teams going at it. One of which obviously has the greatest player of all time. Michael, starting us off with the $20 super. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. Post-game beer fun. Hell yeah. Thank you, man. Curious where you think this trophy would rank in the Hall of Sounders Championships. Yeah, I was thinking about that because, I guess this is sort of what I was getting at. To me, this game is not, it's not about like Leagues Cup being a super significant trophy compared to CCC or MLS Cup or having more or less weight. Like we can have those debates, but with this matchup being against Inter Miami, like I think this is about more than that. It's about more than just the trophy. It's about like a clash of ideologies. And for that reason, I think if they do win this game, I don't know if it would be the biggest win in Sounders history, but it would be up there. This is certainly one of the biggest games in Sounders history. And depending on how it goes, it could be the biggest. If they win, it's the biggest. If they lose, then actually Leagues Cup is a cynical cash grab tournament that no one cares about. But I just think how this panned out with the opponent, it changed how I look at it. Changed how I look at it as far as what the implications are of the result. Certainly it's just different than if this game had been Orlando. Like they have a good team. Martin Ojeda is a great player, MVP candidate. It's just it's not the same as getting to play. This is the most stacked team in the history of the league on paper. On paper. And to be fair, like the results that they've taken from the Messi and the Barca Boys era, if you're talking purely just about their record, point haul, points per game, all that, it has been indicative of a team that is that stacked. I think, you could argue, I was talking about this on the last show with Chris from Battered Herons. Like, you could argue that the total trophy haul is underwhelming for them so far. But as far as like the level they play at week in, week out, it's been pretty damn good. So and yeah, like some people are saying, it's the reason I wanted them to win this tournament, in addition to those other factors, is it's, you know, whatever importance we put on it, it's a tournament that's here to stay. They're going to keep playing it. It's going to keep generating history. It's going to take on, like, its status will be decided. Like, whatever trophies are available, you want to have it in your trophy case. Seattle doesn't have this one yet. They made the final once. It's only a few years old. So I want them to just knock it out. Just get this one. Let's get this one in the case. That would be nice. And then the fact that you have to get through a team like this to get there, I think that just adds to it. Seattle lose, don't say because of ref. Don't cry like other teams, though. We'll see what happens. Hopefully the refs don't give anyone reason to say stuff like that. I think it's a little silly to pretend that the Orlando game was controversy free. I don't really care. About that discourse. I mean, it's whatever. I think Orlando shot themselves in the foot in many ways outside of what happened on those controversial calls. I will say, like, you know, you got people out there saying that the one on that Busquets had on Angulo was like not a penalty. And I'm not quite sure what we're talking about. Like, I don't know. Watch that highlight and tell me that that's not. That's like one of the clearest penalties I think I've seen. So that is where the controversy from that game came from. I'm not sure who the center ref is. I haven't looked at that yet. Could be considered our greatest tournament run if we finish with the trophy 7-0 against reigning CCC champ, reigning MLS champ, only team with a perfect score after group stage. It definitely, I think, no matter what happens in this game, I don't know if Seattle gets like blown off the field, maybe that would change it. But I think this has been a great tournament, like regardless of what happens in this game. Like the results, yes. But the level of footy that's been played, a couple of the individual games and performances. I mean, two of my favorite goals in Sounders history have been scored in this tournament. De La Vega scored a damn Puskas nominee against Cruz Azul. And then the shake and quake from Osaze was just... that was up there when you consider the circumstances, who scored it, and how it was scored. So, as far as like the moments and the memories, like I said, the level of the footy, it's been a great run. But to make that really, really mean something, you got to win it. J.O. just texted me. We might get a J.O. cameo here. Showing up before Nico and Noah, potentially. Thought I was going to be running solo all morning over here. Hold on, guys. Sorry, I'm going to Send Jo the link. Get him in here. All right. Yeah, I agree. Cascadia Cup actually clears. Heritage Cup. Hear me out. Hear me out. Close relative who's doubting the Sounders, but hey, he's been a skeptic for years. A lot of people are doubting. It's funny. Like I've been looking at all the national pundits, and there's actually two of them. I'm not going to name any names. There's two of them that right after the match, the Galaxy match, they were like, I think Seattle might actually be the favorite here. Low key. I'm paraphrasing. And then 2 days later, everyone was like, nah, Messi and the Barca Boys, they got this. Which, like, that could very well pan out. I think this is the thing when you're playing one of these GOAT athletes. Messi, this guy's like in that Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, Muhammad Ali. When you have that LeBron, when you have that tier, one thing I've noticed about guys like that is they always seem to come out on top, no matter what the circumstance. You can think that everything's against them, and they just still find a way to do it. And that could very well happen here. I think if Inter Miami pulls this off and Messi pulls this off, it'll be like a way more higher degree of difficulty accomplishment than people probably give it credit for. I think people are thinking of this like, oh, well, it's Messi. He can just win whatever game he wants easily. I mean, this is one of those classic MLS situations that puts anyone up against it. They have to fly across the damn country. It's one of the longest distances. They have to play in front of 65,000 plus on a turf field on short rest in a climate that they're not used to. I don't know how much that's going to affect things, but this is one of the hardest degree of difficulty road trips for any MLS team. And he's got a bum hamstring. So it's like, if he pulls it off under those circumstances, then there's nothing to be said or argued with other than he's a literal GOAT. I mean, I don't put anything past him. That being said, it's a team game. Apparently Jo didn't get the link. I'm going to DM him. Oh, there he is. He did get the link. All right, let's bring him onto the stage right now. The first one tapping in to the Lobbing Scorchers Leagues Cup final preview. Jeremiah O'Shan, Sounder at Heart, Overlord. What's up, Jeremiah? Thanks for tapping in. Leagues Cup final.
I gotta tell you, I feel dumb. I didn't realize you were emailing me the link because we were texting, and I thought, oh, he's gonna send it via text, and then I was like, he did not send it. What is he doing? And then I looked at
I figured like you might want to tap in from your computer,
Yeah,
so.
No, that makes sense. I'm an old person though, so I'm like constantly at my computer, actually at a computer.
Well, thanks for tapping in regardless. It is the morning of the Leagues Cup final. The Seattle Sounders are about to play Lionel Messi and the Barca Boys. How are you feeling about this one? Nervous, excited, all of the above?
So I don't think I'm breaking any news here, but I do like I'm definitely a Sounders fan. I'm not like sitting here pretending like I don't care what happens. And so I have emotions that I don't have to pretend about, right? And so I'm weirdly not nervous. Like I don't know why. I think the stakes for this feel a lot lower than the semifinal, weirdly. Like I was really this could change.
I was really
obviously,
nervous
but
for that game.
I was because I felt like the losing in the semifinal would have been like a disaster because you
Yeah.
sort of you set yourself up for what is like Aaron and I sort of put our flag in the ground at the start of the tournament. Fourth is the worst you could do. Like it's worse than bombing out of the phase one. It's worse than going out and so it was like fourth quarterfinals, and then you finish you bomb out, and then after that, then you get into like the, you know, do you actually want to win? Of course you want to win it at that point, you know, but you got to navigate through all this mess to get here. And so the Sounders navigated all the mess, and they've sort of arrived. They've already qualified for Champions Cup. They get to host. Like the thing is that with a match like this, there's so much upside to just getting to host, because you get all the, you know, you get all the attention that comes with being, you know, getting 65,000 people into the building, and it's over 65,000. I also have a little bit of news that I'm going to break on your show.
Oh, let's go, chat. We got breaking news. What do you got?
So my understanding is that the Sounders are going to be offering fans the ability to trade in a Messi shirt for a Sounders jersey.
Oh, that's sick.
Now, this is not official yet, but it sounds like that's happening.
Wow. So like does it have to be a jersey, or is it just
a
like
jersey?
You gotta
Yeah, it's going to be after a jersey. You got I assume this was, and I want to give credit to the Sounder at Heart Discord, because they came up with this idea, and I was like, oh, that's funny. I should pass this on. And I passed it on, and not only did like the PR people love it, they floated it to like ownership and the highest level of management, and they're like, this is a great idea.
Wow. Sounder at Heart Discord changing history.
So it was so I think that, and to me it sort of illustrates, like they would never do this for a MLS Cup or a CCL, and I think it's sort of like it's having fun with the tournament. It's a serious tournament in that there's real stakes, but it's not so serious that you can't do something like this.
Yeah, no, I think that's awesome. That's hilarious. Jacob Stash, thank you for coming in with the 5. Appreciate you. Jo on a no Saudietas roll. Great episode with Valeri on how to get past Miami. Yeah, Jo, tell us about your interview with Diego Valeri. What did he have to say about this match and Seattle's chances and all that? I listened, but tell the people.
Yeah, first of all, Diego Valeri, impossible not to like now that he's no longer playing for the Timbers. I have to say, you got to be sort of. It was funny. I called him one of the best players in MLS history, and someone was like arguing. Oh, I don't think so. I don't think so. And I was like, I don't know I hate to break it to you, but he is.
He's
like,
easily, yeah.
This is not me. I'm just saying this from there's a pretty wide agreement on this. But he was great. He's called dozens of Messi games, so he's seen what teams are able to do that shut him down. And like you said, there's not really a way to shut down Messi. You kind of alluded to this earlier, that on some level, if he just is on a heater,
you're at the mercy of that.
Yeah, you're sort of along for the ride. But the thing is, I don't know that he's capable of like fully dominating a match for 90 minutes these days, and he doesn't have to. That's the reality. He just doesn't have to do that. He can turn it on for a few minutes, and that's sometimes enough. And if you miss your chances, you're at the win. You know, that's what happened to Orlando. They dominated the first 75 minutes of that game.
Yeah.
And then, or maybe 70 minutes, whatever. They were the better team, but they didn't put away their chances. They sort of left it up to the whims of a soccer god, and he punished them. You know, and that's how it goes.
And they kind of lost after the equalizer. They kind of lost their composure, which I think that's another thing you can't do in a situation like this. You got to be locked for the whole thing. But yeah, I don't I don't know. Like, yeah, as far as stopping Messi, I don't think that's necessarily possible or what you should
Right.
try to do. But
So,
what I mean, yeah. What
I mean,
else did
basically
you
what
guys
he
have?
said is that they're exploitable defensively. They are going to give you, Jordi Alba is going to give you space on the wings, and you just need to punish them. You have to be physical with them. You can't sort of defer to them. You can't sit there and think you're going to sit in a low block for
No.
90 minutes and just hope for the best. You got to come out and play, and you got to punch them in the mouth and see how it goes. And sometimes it doesn't work out, like I said, Messi is perfectly capable of still destroying a game plan. And that's, I don't know that he had anything super, like, I don't know if that's breaking news exactly, but I think more what his message was, it is like Miami is very much an MLS team. Like, this is not as much as like their resume can make you squint and you're like, that looks like kind of 2014 Barcelona, but it's not. These guys are not in the prime of their careers. They are not capable of dominating the way that they once were. And they've, Vancouver beat them 3-0 at home. They beat them, I think was it 5-0 on
3-1, 5-1, 5-2, 5-1 on aggregate or something?
Yeah, something like that. Right.
But they dominated that whole series, and Messi was playing. And
right.
the second of those games, they had it at home. So, that doesn't guarantee anything, but it does show that like they can be beaten. It's not impossible. I was thinking about this too, like what you're saying.
They bleed blood. Like
well, what you were saying about how it's like they are an MLS team at the end of the day. Like if you look at their lineup, I was kind of looking at both teams' projected starting 11s and seeing what matchups Seattle may be able to exploit. And I mean, I think the biggest one, man, like they're starting right back right now is a kid named Ian Frey, who's like a homegrown, he was a center back. And I guess I didn't even know this, but they slotted him over and he's playing right back. And he's, he's a good player. He's a like inspiring story because he did his ACL 3 times and came back and is playing at a high level. But can he stop Pedro de la Vega right now? If he does, it would be like the performance of his career, which if he does that, more power to him. But that's a matchup. I haven't heard one pundit talk about that matchup. Like, all right, like it's like Messi versus, it's how it is with Messi versus Seattle's guys. I have not heard one person mention, can Ian Frey slow down Pedro de la Vega?
I don't feel maybe we haven't talked about can Paul Rothrock completely neutralize Jordi Alba?
Yeah, that one's less, glamorous. Like
no, but I think it's a real thing, though. I mean, like Paul Rothrock to me, if I'm Paul Rothrock, this is the meeting. This is exactly what this is why I do this. Like Jordi Alba seems like the perfect foil for the Paul Rothrock sort of agenda.
Yeah, it does. Well, like the thing about Jordi Alba is he's the best attacking left back to ever play the game. At this stage of his career, is he like a defensive stopper? I don't think so. Like that's not really his thing. So we got Noah tapping in finally. Nice of him to show up. Let's get him in here. Good morning. He's got his archive kit on.
What's up, chat?
What's going on, man? Leagues Cup final game day.
So I have a practical question for you guys that I could have texted you, but this is live. This is what YouTube Live is all about, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. We do it on the fly.
Is there a live show at Fast Fashion, or is that just a pre-funk?
That's just a pre-funk.
Okay. All right.
Well, we might do live shows again at some point. The Watershed ones were fire. But we don't have like a PA. I realize you can't really hear like the podcast setup, so we'll look into that. But no live show at Fast Fashion.
This is really good live chat stuff. I do have a PA that you can
okay.
use.
Well, I don't know. Maybe at some juncture.
Not today, though.
Not today.
All right, so I've maybe disseminated some bad information. That's okay.
That's okay. We like to send out false information. That's
I published a story today by accident, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I published a story. It was like 90% edited, but very clearly not 100% edited. Like there was mistakes. There was not even mistakes. There was like open sores in the story.
journalistic integrity. That's
So what story was it? Let's promo it.
The one I just published right now, I republished it as a totally different story. And so people are going to have and my hope is that most people will not notice this, is that because it published right after Charlie Boehm's story on Miami, or right before Charlie Boehm's story on Miami. So my hope is they just totally ignore it, the first version, and that they only read this one. So it's the story about that basically is the contrast version of Charlie Boehm's story about all the big money and expensive players and famous players that Miami have, and how the Sounders have done it very differently.
Hell yeah.
So that's the Sounders yin yang part of that story.
Check it out on Sounder at Heart, everybody. Subscribe to Sounder at Heart if you haven't sounderatheart.com/ls. Noah, what's going on, man? Leagues Cup final match day, Inter Miami, the Barca Boys. It's going down 5 p.m. Lumen Field.
I'll be there.
How are you feeling? Do you fancy the Seattle Sounders chances today? Because I've dove deep into the national pundits. They don't think the Seattle Sounders are
really
have any chance. Yeah, it's
I was surprised. I saw was defending us.
Who?
Bradley Wright Phillips.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's a good guy.
Okay, yeah. BWP is one of the only ones I've seen who is like, I think Seattle, I actually kind of like Seattle's chances here, which I saw a couple people dabble with it. Maurice Edu was another one who I was funny watching him. They asked him in the moment and he's like kind of just formulating his take on the fly. And he was like, man, it might sound crazy, but I think Seattle actually might have so there's been a little bit of it. But for the most part, what I've seen is, Lionel Messi in a final. It's over. It's chalked. You may as well not even play the game. Why even play it? Just give him the trophy now. And their fan base is definitely saying that stuff. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's of course, the national pundits are going to say that. I don't blame them. They don't watch the West. They don't know what the Sounders are up to.
It is kind of still I've been a little surprised at how, I was watching 360 yesterday, and put it aside that it's a Leagues Cup final, you would just think that because Messi was in it, that there would just be more hype and attention around us. Our friend Jason Davis, who does a podcast morning, I think it's called Morning Footy. And they did their 4 to watch. They have this thing called 4 to watch where they talk about the 4 games that are most interesting to them. Leagues Cup did not make it was all these random games in USL and every game that they talk about the combined, this is not even a joke. I bet you the combined attendance of the 4 games they talked about will be smaller than the crowd that shows up today. And then they sort of passingly mentioned, well, we should at least mention Leagues Cup. I don't know if anyone cares about that outside of Seattle. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Wow. So that's that's kind of like a shot at both.
Kinda. Yeah, it was kind of weird.
I mean, do we think that Miami really care if they lose this final?
Yeah. I do. I actually think Miami probably cares more about losing this final than I think more Miami fans are going to be bent out of shape about losing this than Sounders fans will be if they lose. Because I do genuinely think that there is, and I've heard Ari talk about this. I think you talked about this with the Miami podcaster, and how they won a Shield last year and they won the 2023 Leagues Cup, but this is pedestrian stuff. It's the whole Messi aura is the accumulation of hardware and achievements, and it's not any one title is that, he's got the World Cup now, so that's that. He's got so many Champions League titles. It starts to become, it's not about what trophies they are. It's about just accruing more and more trophies. And so I think for Miami, it is the success of this project is not so much, did you win MLS Cup once? Did you win Champions League once? It's how many trophies did you win? And Leagues Cup is, I think this is every final that they lose, which they haven't, I don't think they've lost a final yet, right? No, they haven't. Is going to be a chink in the armor. And I think there's they have this perceived invincibility, which is shocking considering they bombed out to Atlanta in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, no one talks about that.
Yeah.
Oddly, no one seems to want to talk about that.
No one wants to talk about
No,
that.
I
I mean,
think,
I do.
Yeah, no one, definitely no one is arguing that if Inter Miami like loses Leagues Cup, that it undermines Messi's legacy as a whole or anything.
Right.
But there's other stuff at play. I think specifically, the legacy of the Messi era, the Messi project, and the Barca Boys era at Inter Miami and MLS specifically. That legacy is going to be defined by, like you said, how many trophies they win, plural. And right now, I don't think that the Leagues Cup that they have and the Shield and points record that they have is as much to sneeze at as some people, but it's not enough to like be like, oh, we got Messi and the Barca Boys to come to the league, and then we absolutely dominated and won everything in our like. They got to win multiple more trophies to be able to lay claim to that type of status that they are purporting to go after. And to achieve that, they got to win. They got to win more. They got to win more trophies. They got to win this game. Like, so in that way, it is a situation where I think the pressure's all on them, man. Like, I
mean, I don't know if Messi feels pressure for it, but I do think that the fans,
not him, but them organizationally.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that I don't know, maybe I'm totally projecting, but I do genuinely feel like the Sounders are sort of playing with house money at this point. Like, the fact that they were able to get here while missing, 7, 8 of their real starter, like guys who would potentially be in contention for starting. I mean, it's unreal. You look at the players they're missing, and that they don't seem to be missing a beat on this is pretty remarkable. Like, one of the stats I highlighted in my story today was just since Leagues Cup started, like, ignore all the stuff before that, which is good too, but they have 10 goal scorers just in the 8 games since Leagues Cup started. They're averaging almost 3 goals a game in these 8 games. They're 6-1-1. And they are averaging over 5 changes per game on their lineup.
It is, yeah. The injuries and the absences and the amount of goal scorers. It's been like a team fueled run, which is what I what I love about it. I had like some questions for the group that I was going to pose as we talk about like who should actually be the favorite in this game. Just food for thought, things to ponder. So I'll toss those out there and see what you guys think. And these are sort of what I ask myself in going into any match if I'm trying to think of who's the favorite or not, right? Like, and I have 5 things written down here, which number 1, who's in the better form right now at the moment going into this game? What would you say?
I mean, I'll go Seattle. I think that's just pretty clear. Like, Miami is kind of operating at normal levels. Like, you can get them, you can not get them. It really is dependent on how much magic Messi wants to produce in a game, or how much he can produce in a single game, or how open you leave the game to being decided by a call here or there. I mean, I saw a lot of Orlando fans being all pissed off, but it's like you gotta know that like a part of Miami just operating at a normal level is they're probably going to score at least one. Messi's going to score 1 goal, and they're probably going to get a penalty at some point.
Yeah, like I just looking at Leagues Cup form, Seattle has a better record, more goals, better differential. So that is just one thing. I mean, Jo, do you see that any differently? Like, as far as
I don't know that I fully agree that the Sounders are in undeniably better form. I mean, the Sounders have been very impressive. But if you just, if you go back to the, if we're just talking like total picture, the reality is that Miami's only lost once since mid-July. So it's, they're on like a 6-week run that's comparable to the Sounders.
Okay, that's a good case. Like, that might be like a wash. It could be just a wash.
I mean, both of them are playing very well. I think that's sort of my thing, is that it's not so much that Miami is playing out of its mind. And I think if you want to get into the margins, you could probably make an argument that the Sounders are better. Like, I'm sure we could break out an XG table and make the case that the Sounders are better in this run of form. But I do think Miami, let's not kid ourselves. Miami's playing well right now.
They definitely are. Both teams are obviously in very good form. And I think kind of ultimately it's close enough where it doesn't tilt the scale one way or the other, I would say. But that's a 50-50 proposition. It's definitely not skewed all the way towards Miami or Seattle. Here's an interesting one. Who has the better all-around team? Not the best individual player, not the 3 or 4 best individual players. Who is the better team? How would you answer?
I think the Sounders win this one, not necessarily because I'll say it, and this is the way I'll put it. The Sounders, like I said, are missing 7 players, probably 7 or 8. I guess you can they're missing 8 guys, 7 or 8 guys for this game. They will still put out a team that is extremely competent and ready to go toe to toe. I don't know that Miami could just pick 7 random players and still feel this confident. So I just think on that notion alone. Now, if you want to count up their scores or whatever, like I would imagine Miami has a better average score, but I just feel like the Sounders have proven that the lower end of their roster is competent and productive, whereas I don't think Miami has been tested in the same way.
I think that like the system that the Sounders are playing in is much more well-rounded for every player on the field than Miami's, because I think the idea of Miami's system is a very individual thing. Like, they have great young players like Allende and Segovia, and they have the best player in the entire world to ever play the game in Messi, and one of the best to ever play at the 9 and Suarez. Whether or not he has no knees or not, he's going to just kind of stand around and poke the ball in the back of the net. He likes to do that. I don't know. It's hard for me to say, because I think if you're looking at like who's healthy and who's suspended and who's whatever, like for me, that's a wash, because while Miami may not have a back line and have never had a back line, like the Sounders are effectively, they have to score multiple goals. Like they need to score 2 or 3 goals to feel safe or confident at any time. And you have to put that on De Rosario, and you have to put that on Paul Rothrock and De La Vega, which, like, I don't know. It's just and no Rusnak. It's, for me, I'm kind of a wash on that. Like, I think that it's a bit tougher than if these teams were fully healthy. Maybe the more well-rounded team is the Sounders. Like, defensively, the Sounders are there, but like I think there's still some question marks. And then you don't have Nuhu, you don't have Moose. It's just like it's gonna be gritty, man. It's gonna be gritty.
It's another one that feels kind of more like a toss-up than anything that's skewed one way or the other to me. Like it's definitely at the very least debatable, and I don't immediately go to like Miami as my answer. Like, I think there's arguments both ways. Another thing that I think of, who has the home field advantage? Obviously, we know the Sounders do, having this game at Lumen Field, which, ordinarily when Messi's involved, I don't think that matters that much. It's not like there's any sort of venue or setting or stage that's going to get to him, or frankly any of the Barca Boys. But guys, I do think this is a uniquely challenging road trip for them, Barca Boys and all. This is the longest distance, pretty much, unless you're talking about Vancouver. I think this is the longest distance-wise road trip you can possibly take in the league. And then, the environment and the fanfare and the spectacle of it, I don't expect that to like tilt anything towards Seattle. But like when you're talking about the turf and stuff like that, maybe it's going to rain today. I don't know. But do you guys think that the road trip and the surface or any other variables as far as the home field actually matter in this scenario? Or do you tend to think that when Messi and the Barca Boys are in the mix, any perceived advantage you can get from that type of stuff, even a road trip as long as this, even them not used to be playing on turf, does that just kind of not make a difference?
I think it makes a difference. I mean, they're human. They're still like they their flight was delayed 2.5 hours, which granted was
I did that. That was me.
Which is it. That was 2 nights ago. So I don't know how much of a factor that is, but I do think the travel is helpful on the margins, and that and
there's like 10,000 people outside of Messi's hotel room right now, just like screaming at all times, waiting for him.
He's used to that though. That's
true.
That's an average
Other
Tuesday.
players, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't
Have
know.
we gone down to the Four Seasons to check out what the scene is like down there?
I have not.
I don't think it's Four Seasons. I think he's at they're like actually in downtown.
Yeah, the Four Seasons, isn't that the one? I'm talking about the Four Seasons that's Pike by Pike Place. Isn't that what
somewhere down there? I thought it was a different one, but
oh, maybe not.
that's
what I had heard.
People going crazy over.
People should go down there, report back to us, let us know if they've caught eye or what. I am genuinely curious. I've started to doubt myself. I've been saying all along that I think it's going to be like a 95.5 Sounders crowd. I
don't know.
I think there's going to be a lot of Messi fans there.
There's going to be a lot of Paul Rothrock fans, but also a lot of Messi fans. I think you'll get.
I'm fascinated to see how this turns out, because I just was convinced, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I think I was convinced too until I started scrolling on TikTok and saw like straight up like 40 different videos of people like hunting for Messi, looking for Messi. Blah, blah, blah. Doesn't mean these people are going to go to the game, but like it was actually crazy. Like the amount of people who were like, I love the Sounders, but Messi's my first love, and blah, 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 blah. So you might get people who are showing up in a Sounders jersey rooting for Messi, but I think that there's a possibility that happens. I really don't think that you can, especially because he hasn't been here since 2016. So
yeah,
I mean, there's just that the reality is like people don't know when they're going to be able to see him again in Seattle. This legitimately might be the last time he ever plays in Seattle. So who knows? I
think it definitely is because I mean, I've said this before, but if this was a regular season game, just like a random regular season game, 0% chance he or any of the Barca Boys play. They would not play on that turf. Why? They have to. They literally have to, because it's a final. But that's the only reason they're even making the trip here. We all know that. So like when I think like, why is that? Why is it that in a normal circumstance they would not even enter their mind to play in this game? Does that mean they're worried about it, like them getting injured? Probably. Yeah. Does the fact that they don't want to play on that field, is that going to affect anything as far as how the game actually goes? I think it's at least worth asking. I don't know, but what I do know is that the only reason Leo Messi is actually playing in this game is because it's a cup final. Like any other circumstance, he wouldn't. He straight wouldn't. He would do what a lot of these other superstars do and just take the game off.
That's why we love Lumen Field.
I mean, we've seen it happen a lot of times. I think Zlatan, to his credit, he played here. He was like, I'll do it. But like for the most part, a player of that age and status or whatever wouldn't do it. And we know Messi and Suarez wouldn't do it. So all I'm saying is I'm curious to see what, if any, impact that has on the game, because there's got to be a reason. There's got to be a reason that they are so against it.
It's undoubtedly going to have an effect. Is it like, could it affect the amount of play time that the goats play? I don't know, But I mean, like I said before, Suarez is operating functionally on like 2 Jello cups in his knee.
Messi's
How long is that?
hamstring. I don't know how real
Yeah.
that is. Like if he's actually injured with that, or if they're just saying that or whatever. Supposedly, like his hamstring is not doing too hot.
Yeah,
That's what he
and
said
we've
after the
you
last
know
game.
what? This is hamstring FC, Ari. Do you know how many hamstrings the Lumen Field turf has taken just this season?
A lot.
Yeah.
lot.
So I don't know. And if it starts right, here's the perfect scenario. Starts out dry, the Sounders get their advantage playing on the field, and then it just starts raining. It just starts Seattle raining, misting, a little uncomfortable for the Miami fellas. And you finish it back out with some sun and then maybe like a heavy rain during the penalty shootouts. How just magical would that be?
Do we know the forecast? I haven't looked at the
This
forecast.
is cinema. I'm crafting
okay.
cinema.
If it starts raining, that will be cinematic. I hope it does. I think that would be hugely advantageous for Seattle. They play in the rain all the time. I don't think Messi and the Barca Boys do that.
I don't
but
think it's supposed to rain.
I mean, either way, even if it doesn't, the fact remains that it's at least possible that the home field advantage variable could come into play. To what extent, I don't know. Again, I sort of tend to think that this is the classic situation where you might think things are stacked against Messi, and then he just goes out there and scores a bunch of crazy goals and wins anyway. So that definitely could happen. And if that does happen, he is the GOAT. So another thing I take into account when I'm assessing who's the favorite, we were kind of just talking about it. Who's healthier? Probably them, but like not like we just Messi's got a bum hamstring. Suarez, does he have knees? I don't know. Do they have any other major injuries? They got Segovia healthy. They got Allende healthy. They got
I don't watch the East.
Falcone. Who are they going to start at center back? That guy Lujan.
I love you just ripping through their raw. I have no. It's like this is like
I like purposely don't watch Inter Miami games.
I watch a lot of Inter Miami games.
Yeah,
they are they're a lot healthier than Seattle. But I think the caveat with that is that I think Messi specifically he said after the Orlando game, did he not? Like I feel not 100%. Like I don't feel like fully, but he's still absolutely bammed on them. So I don't think that matters. But that is like them being relatively healthy does have that caveat. But I would say the caveat for how unhealthy Seattle is they've been able to maintain their level despite that throughout.
There's not like any new wrinkles that the Sounders are having to do. Like if Christian Roldan had gone out this week, that would have been bad.
Nightmarish.
Yeah.
Very bad. But he's apparently fine. And so it's like, I don't know.
I know his ass is not fine.
Huh?
I know his ass is not fine.
You think Christian's carrying something?
He's just, bro. You think Christian Roldan of all people would say anything if he was feeling any kind of anything?
Well,
Right before
fine in
finals?
that he's gonna play.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right. Like I don't know. He
I'm
might
saying.
have some. He might be not feeling 100%, but
That dude
At
will
this
play on
point, it's
1%.
attrition.
That man would refuse to get a charger on 1%. He's just going crazy.
Okay, last thing to think about if we're assessing who the favorite is. This is one that I try and go over in my mind and assess as much as I can on a week in, week out basis. Which team has the literal number one greatest player of all time to ever play the sport in history? Is that Snyder Brunell?
Snyder Brunell.
No, I mean I just think that is one thing when you're talking about Inter Miami that you can't really like plan for. That's the thing. Like if this game was against Orlando City, I'd be like, all right, this might be how you slow down a guy like Martino Ojeda, or at least like limit his influence on the game, or limit his touches and stuff like that. Even guys like Haney Mukhtar or whatever, you can sort of think of it that way. I just don't even let that really enter my mind in this scenario. Like it's very possible, perhaps even likely, that at some point tonight, that we see Lionel Messi just score an absolutely insane goal out of nowhere. Or like, I guess one thing you can try and do is limit the amount of dangerous free kicks that you give up as much as possible. Because I know every time there's a foul in any one of those areas, it's just the chances he's just going to bam it are way higher than anyone else that you could ever play in a game against. So that is the reality. I mean, you guys just on the prospect of matching up against this player, like how do you think of it? How do you approach it?
I mean, we famously have an Argentinian number 10, so like I'm not really that scared.
There you go.
Okay.
I mean, what do you say? What do you say about it? Yeah,
Yeah.
you have Messi, but I mean, if you did listen to the most recent No Sarietes podcast with world famous superstar commentator Diego Valeri, he gave some good insight on how to stop Messi, and it was just like hold on for dear life, and cut off just piss him off. And I'm sorry, there's two guys in the world who are gonna piss the fuck off out of Messi. It's Christian Roldan and Obed Vargas.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's two very annoying dudes. Like, I wouldn't want to match up against them.
I don't
the
know
only
how
guy who I wish that I could see play in this game against Messi is Ozzy Alonso, because I would love to see an Ozzy Alonso just absolutely crunching tackle on Messi. Like, I mean, that's... I fear if I even say how that would make me feel, I would be banned off of all soccer platforms.
I don't know how it's going to pan out, but I am just so looking forward to Christian and Obed going up against Messi in this attack, and I know that they're going to be up for it at the very least. Like this team, they might get theirs. They usually, by the time any of their games are all said and done, they usually have a few goals. But I do know that Christian, Obed in the back line, I think in this scenario, you want to be actively looking forward to it as opposed to like feeling the weight of it and kind of not dreading it, but being intimidated. And I don't think this team has any of that. I think at the very least, the mindset and the mentality is where it needs to be. That doesn't necessarily mean anything for their chances of winning the game, but it's at least a starting point. Anything else that you guys wanted to hit with this game? Like,
did you give predictions?
I've been purposefully
not
giving one because I hate doing that. But I will say that just going through that list of questions and determining who the favorite is, like Seattle's chances, I think, are better in this game than are being talked about anywhere outside of Seattle. I think everyone in Seattle who's been watching this team over the last few weeks feels decently good about their chances in this game. And
I don't see how you can't help but feel like maybe not. I'm not saying the Sounders are definitely going to win, but I do feel confident that they're going to be good in this game, that they're going to be able to hang with Miami. I honestly would be a lot more worried if it was Orlando. I was more worried about, not necessarily, I didn't think Galaxy, I'm not saying the Galaxy are better than Miami, but like I said, I was way more nervous about the Galaxy game than I am about this one, in part because it feels like, again, like it does feel a little bit like they're playing with house money. Like they've already qualified for Champions Cup. They've avoided the worst case scenarios. So much of my personal rooting interest is avoiding worst case scenarios. And I'm sure once we get there, I'll start caring about, like, I'll feel the nerves of wanting to actually win this thing. But still, here we are 7 hours before kickoff, and I'm not freaking out. And I like the Sounders' chances. I'll say I'm going to predict a 3-2 Sounders win.
Okay, he predicted it. He's on the record.
I love it. Here's what I'll say about the whole thing. You heard Brian Schmetzer. He said Messi, arguably the greatest player to ever play the game. But we have Paul Rothrock. And frankly, I just think that is exactly it. The Sounders, they have nothing to lose. They have a group of guys who want this shit more than anything. You can tell me that Miami got together in the locker room and they want this game and this is their whole focus. You think Messi gives a flying shit about Leagues Cup? He already won it one time. Let's be real. They want to win MLS Cup. They want to win a star. They want to win CONCACAF Champions Cup. He wants to stay healthy. He wants to play in another World Cup. That's the reality. This game means only as much to him as it is easy for him to win it. He can like, I really do think that's the truth. If you muck this game up, if you make them feel it, if you make them feel suffocated not only by your play but by Lumen Field and the noise that comes from it. The Sounders have never lost a final at home ever. Do you remember those atmospheres? I mean, I understand that it's a different situation with Messi being here, but you can't tell me that it's not going to be loud and thunderous and crazy. That is an atmosphere that there is basically not a comparison in American soccer to. And that is just the truth. Messi's played in big games before, but he's never played Lumen Field in those conditions.
Never played on that
Copa
turf.
America, but it was on grass.
That was
on grass.
That was on grass.
I'm
just glad that he has to play on the turf. No
Most of the
weaseling
times
out
he
of
played
it.
here was on grass, I guess. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they laid down the shittiest fucking grass I've ever seen in my life.
That was
for
was that the
Copa.
stuff that everyone was like slipping on? It was
Yeah,
like
it was
Charlie
so
Brown.
bad.
Yeah.
It was like separating. It was crazy.
That was crazy. But
So
yeah,
shout out to whoever did the Club World Cup grass. You guys did a great job. Anyway, no, it's I can't bet against the Sounders. I can't. I just can't. Like it's not. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like how you could do that. I get it. It's messy. It's awesome.
That's why. Yeah.
But like, this is their game to win. And I'm never betting against Brian Schmetzer in a game like this. Having his team in form like this, it's almost better that they're missing starters because, like, you don't think Osaze de Rosario hasn't been waiting his entire life for this moment? Isn't just gonna like feast? Same with Reed Baker Whiting and all of these like. They already played PSG. They already played Atletico Madrid. They already played Botafogo. This is a game that's below that. And like Jeremiah said, the stakes are not that high.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the other thing is that there's no reason for the Sounders to feel intimidated. Reed Baker Whiting, I assume, is going to be the starting left back. And the reality is that he started against Atletico Madrid. Like, I don't see how this would be more intimidating.
And that's why you give young players chances in moments like that, by the way, because when a moment like this comes up, they'll be ready. And I obviously knew who being in the 11 for this game would be ideal, but RBW,
You might have gotten sent off anyway, though.
I was okay. Let's talk about that because guys, I swear to God, if someone gets a red card today, I swear
it's
to God.
gonna happen.
Okay, all right. Here's what I'll say. If it happens where they're up a few goals late, like say just it's the best case scenario, one of the greatest performances in club history. They're up 3 or 4-0 in the 88th minute. If you want to get a red card at that point, just for the bit, like to keep the bit going, I will accept that. Any other circumstance, everyone just lock in. No red cards. If they get a red card in like the 28th minute, and chalk themselves for the rest of the game, and we have to watch them scrambling down a man against Messi and the Barca Boys the entire goddamn game, I'm going to lose my mind. And I would not put it past this team to do that. God knows. We've seen that enough times this year. So it shouldn't be as high on the list of important things as it is, but don't get a red card for the love of all that is holy. Just finish the match with 11 men. That's one of the only things that I ask here. Just finish it with 11 men.
You got to imagine that Miami's going to try and bait a red card.
Yeah, they are. Because at this point, it's like on the scouting report. Like you can get these guys to crash out and get sent off. And
but that's the thing is that I will say in defense of the Sounders in that way, they aren't crashing out and getting red cards. Nuhu crashed out. and
Moose
got a
did.
red
Moose
card.
did.
Moose
I
crashed
mean, Moose
out.
did too, but even then, I don't like. I even feel like that is in such a different category because it's not like he is someone prone to that type of thing. Like,
Yeah, he's crash out adjacent. I've seen him get hot.
But like the Sounders don't have a bunch of guys who are like, I don't know if you watch Leagues Cup, especially, there are a lot of players in the world, a lot of teams who part of their bit is yelling at the referees and crashing out and doing it. And the Sounders don't really do that. I don't know that I buy that the Sounders are getting baited into red cards.
Yeah, I guess baited is not the right way to put it.
But it's definitely true that
I know is they have
they'll try and
9
muck up the game.
All I know is they have 9 red cards this
They
season.
do have 9 red cards, but that's what's
And
so
it's like-
remarkable about it.
Take the crash out part out of it, like like the one Georgie got, like not a malicious situation.
He was persecuted for his beliefs.
persecuted.
That's First Amendment grounds there. Okay.
But like just anything like that, like they found random ways to get sent off as well. Like in addition, and a lot of them, the last new who won against the Galaxy. I haven't been crushing him for that. I feel like that was unlucky, and I didn't mind him. I talked about this on one of our last shows, but I didn't mind him still playing hard, still going into tackles, still coming at Gabriel Peck at that time in the game. But it's a pattern is the point. Okay. And you just can't have that surface in a game like this. At the very least, you got to give yourself a chance by keeping everyone on the field. And
I will agree with you. They can't get a red card today.
They can't get a red card. No red cards.
No red cards.
Got a couple super chats from Bernardo to hit right here. Bernardo, thank you for the support. Appreciate you. He says, mark my words, Sounders win tonight. Osaze goal, and the Brazilian photographer runs on the pitch to celebrate. Shout out Fabio. And then coming in with the 10, Bernardo. Thank you, man. You're a maniac.
Wow.
Morris Kent JP injury updates. I mean, they're all out for this game, obviously. I mean, Jo, do you have anything on timelines?
No timeline updates. Jordan does seem to be, he's out of his sling and he's in a what do they call it? A brace. He's in a brace. So I would imagine that means that he's getting closer to being able to train. He'll probably train this week. Actually, that's my assumption, is that he'll train this week. And then I don't know what the timeline is for his actual return is. I mean, to be honest with you, at this point, if I'm the Sounders, I would be reluctant to start him ever at this. Like, I just don't see why you would. Well, not ever, but
ever again. Jeremiah, breaking news here. They're trading Jordan Morris.
Like, I just don't know that there's any reason to rush him into the starting lineup. Like, it's Danny Masovsky is playing great, and why? Like, you don't need to risk anything. Like, get him 100% fit.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't know. Like, he's not playing today, obviously, but Albert Rusnak is available off the bench. Is supposed to be available off the bench. But my suspicion is that that's just going to be like, if it's late in the game and they think they might be going to penalties or they're chasing a goal or something.
Yeah. Ryan Penn was training as well, right? He's back in training off to the side.
He has started doing stuff outside. Yeah, he has started doing stuff outside.
Okay.
JP is also doing but all of them are in the conversation for returning. I don't know. My suspicion is that the timeline, the order is probably Jordan is probably the closest, and then I would assume JP and Kent. But
there's no way JP comes back. There's no way, right?
This season?
Yeah,
I think there is.
I mean, they're definitely acting like
he's magically didn't tear his ACL, even though like he did have a torn ACL, but then they got a second opinion and it wasn't torn. I don't know.
It wasn't
man.
a second opinion. It was they went in to operate on it and they were like, "That's straight, just not torn."
Right.
There you go. I don't know.
I mean, I've never heard of that either, but
and that's why
there's no reason for them to say that he didn't tear it if he actually did tear it.
And that is why I'm a follower of Christ. Miracles.
I will say, so the thing with JP, I don't think there's any subterfuge going on here. I think they're being straight up with what happened there. And part of why I think that is that JP, my understanding is JP was like seriously contemplating retirement. Like he he wasn't sure he wanted to go through another ACL recovery. And so this sort of like was a kind of a weird snip, snap, snip situation where it was like, I don't know where his head was totally. So that one's tough. I don't think he's going to be starting games, but I think he wants to get just back enough that he can contribute, that he can be like a late sub.
I love the guy, but I feel like the retirement option might not be too bad of a shout. I want him to be a coach, man.
I think I think that's probably on the table.
Yeah, I would love him to stay with the Sounders.
I think that's honestly, I could see that as his like second act for sure.
I didn't give a score prediction. 5-0 Sounders win. Fuck Miami.
5-0. There you go. If they actually 5-0 him, that's good. That's gonna be such a fire clip.
Be a good bit.
Yeah, so that's good gamble there. Good playing, roll of the dice. Guys, I wanted to pull up what I think is going to be the Inter Miami 11 and maybe suss out some matchups here. And I'm just pulling up like how they lined it up against Orlando because I think that's pretty much going to be how they do it again. This was how they did it, and what I think was interesting about this is they did DePaul on the wing.
Is that did he really play on the wing?
Yes.
I did not realize this is how they lined up normally. Is this really how they lined up?
They did. This is how they lined up. He was playing out wide like that, and it honestly, if you listen to even how their fans were talking about that, it did not go that well. They got shut out in the first half, and it wasn't looking too hot. And I think this presents an interesting little conundrum for Javi Mascherano, because the reason he did that is because obviously DePaul is, world-class player and has played there at times in his career, as I understand it, and been good at it. And I think Mascherano was doing that so he could get Yannick Bright on the field, because Yannick Bright, he offers like he's like a random super draft pick. Good story, became really good for them, but he offers a more kind of like Christian Roldan style skill set, I would say, at that spot that I think Mosh really wants on the field. Whereas like a double pivot of DePaul and Busquets, I think that's good on paper, but it's not like Busquets is this super physically dynamic ground covering type of guy. DePaul supposedly is that guy, but if they're that confident that double pivot would be as good as it seems on paper, then why slide DePaul up and start Yannick Bright for this match? You see what I'm saying? So like I'll be curious to see if they run the Busquets DePaul double pivot and sit Yannick Bright, who I think they kind of need on the field, or if they try running DePaul out wide again, which I didn't think worked. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, it seems like they're trying to get it does. I'm a fan of them trying to shoehorn their players onto the field, because I feel like that's
famously good.
Famously good. Yeah, that's one of those things where I know we used to, back in the day when the Sounders had a lot of healthy players, we used to have these conversations about how you fit all their best.
How do you fit Jesus Ferrer on the field?
Right.
Yeah. And it was like we were coming up with all these solutions for it. And I think what I come down is like, I usually want my players in positions where they're comfortable, not so much. I'm worried about getting players in positions where they're comfortable, not so much getting everyone just on the field. And so but I'm not even going to pretend to know the nuances of Miami here.
I mean, I think that I don't know what they're going to do truly, like, because I just don't have any insight into the brain of Mascherano. I mean, that guy is dense. Like, that guy is dumb. Like, I don't really understand how he's coaching in this league. I think he would be unemployed if it weren't for Messi. And I would not trust his game planning at all, period, honestly. But
I just think that like, I don't know. We've talked a lot about Mascherano's experience or lack thereof, or whether he has head coaching chops. I feel like Messi is pretty much the coach of this team.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That kind of works.
The Messi starting 11 is going to be put on the field. And, I got to say, for what it's worth, it's cooking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't, like the impact of the head coach for them, it doesn't affect a team in the way that it might normally for.
But when you're
other
playing
teams.
in a final away from home against a very tactically minded coaching staff in the Sounders, to where they're they're vibes based, but I feel like they have a really great grasp on how to adjust and adapt, especially coming out of half, at least what we've seen this season. I mean, that's kind of a nightmare, no, for the mosh.
Hopefully,
the mosh pit.
Breaking news.
Oh,
the promo I teased earlier in the show is now official. Sounders FC offer fans the chance to exchange a Lionel Messi jersey for a Paul Rothrock kit today during the Leagues Cup 2025 final at Lumen Field.
oh
First
my
100 fans to take them up on the offer.
They made it Rothrock. That's so fire.
That's
so good.
That's honestly
While supplies last.
Only 100. They're gonna need to bump that up. I think
they have real limit. I think what they're genuinely worried about is that there are only so many Paul Rothrock jerseys on hand, and they have pretty limited printing capacity right now. There we go. This is great. I think this is awesome.
No, this is a good bit.
It's a good bit. Like, it's an undeniably good bit. If
I think that
if
we're gonna
nothing
have
else.
to make a Instagram post about this.
Yeah, I
we
would
probably
say
should do that. Only other thing I wanted to talk about with this lineup was just what J.O. and I were talking about it earlier. But when I just look at matchups that the Sounders could hopefully exploit or take advantage of, I mean, my eyes go right here, man. Ian Frey and whoever it is they have in their defensive midfield or on the wing or whatever, they're gonna have to slow down Pedro de la Vega, which, not saying it can't be done, but I think that is a handful for Ian Frey. And again, like, that's not being talked about. But if Inter Miami is going to win this game, Ian Frey needs to have like a huge game, which he could do. I'm not saying that it's impossible. It's just I don't think that that's a given. And then, of course, like Rothrock going up against Jordi Alba, that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Who gets the better of that one? I don't know, but I know Paul Rothrock is going to be going as hard as he can. So that's kind of like those matchups on the flanks, basically, I think could be where this game gets decided. So those are my takes on how Inter Miami is going to line it up, because I think we pretty much know what they're going to do. Aside from what I was talking about with winger DePaul versus Yannick Bright, like, I really have no idea what they're going to do.
So
with that,
I'm looking at the heat map for Rodrigo DePaul against Orlando, and that is not the heat map of a winger. That's for sure. He is not interested in being out on the touchline at all. He's just basically patrolling the half spaces.
And I think that's why I can't remember if they chalked that at halftime. I don't know if they chalked it during the game, but I do know that a lot of Inter Miami fans came out of that game and were like, what was that? Like, why was he lined up there?
Yeah, I mean, Frey was essentially providing all their width in that game,
which is not surprising.
So they basically,
like, Rodrigo DePaul is not a winger.
No, that's what. So are they gonna run him out there like that? I think they probably run the DePaul and Busquets double pivot and then just let the chips fall where they may. But
sure, go for it. I say go for it. I would urge them to do that. Absolutely.
That's the thing, is Yannick Bright is way better for like the skill set they need to slow down Seattle, I think, than the DePaul Busquets double pivot. I understand that that's like an insane in terms of name value on paper. That's an insane double pivot. In terms of like the defensive dynamism and skill set that you need in a game like this. I think they need Yannick Bright in there, and Yannick Bright is a super draft pick from the University of New Hampshire. So it's just kind of funny, a funny MLS thing to be debating who starts between Rodrigo De Paul and Yannick Bright, and then have the answer be like, no, I actually think that they should start Yannick Bright.
Well, and either way, I mean, bringing a guy like Rodrigo De Paul off the bench, that's kind of a fire.
But
can you not start him in a game like this?
I don't know.
So who would they? So they would Allende would be the player that would potentially start instead. Is that how that goes, or Segovia, or who?
Yeah. So I think you would sit Bright, put De Paul in the double pivot, and then I don't know what side Segovia or Allende play on. It's basically a similar type guy to me, like really good dynamic winger who can score goals. So I think that's what they would do. I would argue though that leaves them more vulnerable defensively and in transition than they otherwise would. Rodrigo De Paul, he's not like a insanely fast guy, is he? That's not really his thing. He's like the bulldog bruiser, like all enforcer type, which is great, but like when you're trying to slow down, say, Christian Roldan, Obed Vargas, Pedro de la Vega, that's like, I think you need more complementary skill sets there than Busquets and De Paul, who they're a little different. Like Busquets, his whole thing is he's like the best passer ever. De Paul is more of that like defensive and like can cover some ground type guy, but I just don't know if there's a reason that they didn't run that in the Orlando game. That's what I'll say about that. There's a reason they didn't do that. So now I don't know what they're going to do.
I don't either. Sorry, I'm photoshopping a photo of Messi looking at a Paul Rothrock jersey.
Nice. No, that's a worthy use of your time.
I'm thrilled. I can't tell you. I love this promo. I love it.
It's really it's refreshing to see the higher ups see undeniably good bit and be like, you know what? Yes, we should actually.
You know, this comes when the new director of brand was just announced, and
so all right. I just got to read this quote. I realize that this quote is probably written by a PR staffer, but I love it anyway. Lionel Messi is one of the greatest to ever play the game, but at Lumen Field, we back the Rave Green. This jersey exchange is a great way for fans to show where their loyalty lies. We want Lumen to be loud, proud, and unmistakably behind our club. There's no better time to support the home team as we pursue a major international trophy. Hugh Weber, Sounder SC.
Hugh Weber quoted in the release.
Hugh Weber cooking.
That's fire.
Hugh Webbs. Thank you for the banging quote.
De Rosario Shake and Bake top 2
so
Sounders
Quake,
celebration.
What was the name that you guys came up with?
I've been calling it the Shake and Quake, which I don't know. I don't know if people like that,
like
or if
steak and shake, but like not as
well. It's the Shake and Bake, but like Quake because
he
beast quaked. Yeah,
I think because didn't his dad call it the Shake and Bake too?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, okay.
That is what the celebration.
That's what the
is
original
called.
thing. Yeah, I like that.
The name
I
of
like
the
Shake and Quake.
Shake
I
and
feel
Quake.
like okay. I like it. Yeah.
I just already started using it, so we'll see if it catches on. But that's what I'm calling it. It was like what's been cool about this tournament is, you know, like you do it for trophies, but like the individual moments and the journey are part of what makes it fun as well. And this has just had some good ones, like the De La Vega, Puskas Galazo, and the Shake and Quake are like 2 of my favorite Sounders goals ever. Like
I totally agree. And I think that sort of tournaments like this, you oftentimes, I think, remember more for those moments than you do for who won the trophy. Right. And I don't know, maybe that's cope maybe, but I do think that there's some truth in
it matters. It's not like why you do it, but it is
like, this promo to me is one of those things that people are going to be talking about in 10 years. Even if the Sounders don't win this thing, they're going to be talking about how, man, remember when they used to do cool shit like that? And then someone will go, actually, that was during an era where they did a lot. They didn't do any cool shit. And it was shocking that they did this.
I'm kind of in shock that they actually made the correct decision and just sent
No,
it.
this is
on-
great.
Yeah.
They deserve full credit for just going for it. And I appreciate that it's like, I assume that if you show up with a Miami jersey and you're like, hey, you're out of Paul Rothrock jerseys. Can I get a RBW jersey? They'd probably be like, it's cool. We'll do it. Like, that's my assumption. Right.
Mhm.
I don't think they're going to get inundated. My theory is if they get 5 people to do this, then it's a successful program.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things where you might think you only get 5, but enough people will do it for the bit. They can get another.
It's a
Messi
great
jersey.
problem to have. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
really what it is that if you end up getting a bunch of people trading in jerseys, it's great social media. Like, they
Yeah.
better be filming. They better have cameras at the pro shop ready to like talk to these people. I mean, this is the kind of thing, this gets the TV news out there. They interview the kid. Why did you trade in your jersey? Oh, well, I realized I was wrong. Messi's a fraud.
Messi's a fraud. Paul Rothrock's
Paul
the GOAT.
Rothrock.
Paul Rothrock's the truth.
Bro,
Yeah,
what do you know about Capitol Hill, bro? What do you know about Capitol Hill, bro? Messi doesn't know nothing about Capitol
Lionel
Hill.
Messi is the greatest of all time.
Put this on.
I'm gonna go to the kids don't go to bumper shoot anymore. Bumper shoot's
Wow,
washed.
Actual kids do. My wife took my wife and my niece took our daughters and my daughter's friend, and I asked were there a lot, and so this is like a 9 to 12 age range, and I said, were there a lot of kids there? And he said there were a lot of kids there,
And
because they get it 12 and under get in free.
do we know what jerseys that's crazy, 12 and under? Okay, go off. That's actually sick. What jerseys are the Sounders wearing?
Green.
Okay.
I think for a final, you should do like your classic, like much as
I've
the
liked
archive.
this kit.
I think that is my my favorite like alternative kit that they've ever put out by far. Honestly,
Well, yeah. Once upon a time, they used to always play the other tournaments in the third kit. I guess that hasn't really been a thing though. They haven't won the third kit at all in this tournament, right?
I think for a final,
They won it a bunch.
Yeah,
I thought in the first round they wore it all 3 times. I thought
against Cruz Azul, they for sure were wearing it.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Okay, you're right.
But like I was gonna say, like for a final at home, I like the idea of wearing your classic, like this is our original colors and schemes and stuff. Like as much as I love the archive kits, I think rocking the rave green for this one is fine with me. Yeah, I mean, guys, it's happening in a few hours. Did you have anything else on your mind about the matchup, Messi and the Barca Boys? Noah, how you feeling?
I'm stoked, man. I couldn't sleep last night, honestly, genuinely. This is a club that I grew up with. Obviously, I've been watching since I was a little teeny tiny little baby. And it means the world to me. This is my everything. The Sounders are my everything. And so to get to play in a final again at home, you only get to see so many in your lifetime. That's just the truth of it. And the fact that we've gotten to experience 3 so far here in the MLS era, it's incredible. I mean, that's incredible. And to play against Messi for a tournament that means something in, a sold out stadium, that's like, it's perfect. And to be led at this point basically by completely just Seattle homegrown players, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful matchup. It's gonna be such a fun game. I'm so excited. And to be the talk of the town again, how could you not be stoked about it? I mean, the Sounders.
What I've been saying is that this is better from a juice vibes perspective than if they had made a big summer signing. You could have obviously done both. I don't want to get into it, but this is the juice that they were thirsting for. This was the thing the Sounders have felt like they've been missing since 2022. And it's just like the buzz and vibe and people getting excited about, and you know, it is it kind of sucks that tickets were as expensive as they were, but the fact that people bought
They
them
did
is
drop some like $88 tickets and do a final nowadays. That I feel like that's not bad.
yeah. And honestly, if you were smart and you bought before the game was over, you could still get totally reasonably priced tickets. So it's like some level, I don't feel that bad, but like the diehards should have been able to get cheap tickets.
Yeah. I saw some people in chat also saying might want to get another kit tonight. You better go early because I promise you I bet you jerseys are gonna sell out. At least what stock
I wouldn't
they
be,
have.
and I will say that I was at Lumen Field yesterday for the press conference, and they had like the outside the pro shop cash register set up, which I don't think they normally do for a normal game. So
I
are
also wanted to say
prepared.
Brian Babcock is currently on I'm streaming this to TikTok as well, trying that out. And he
word?
commented, "Stop giving me more work, Jeremiah, to film the jersey swaps." So you've officially been called out via TikTok.
Shout
That's where we're
out
at.
Babs for hopping in the TikTok chat. That's
I know.
I love
I'm like,
it.
I just scrolled, and so I don't know if he's still in there or what, but shout out Babs.
our TikTok comments, man. I gotta say, like the confidence of the Inter Miami fan base. I admire it. Like I feel like when Seattle's in a final, I'm a little bit superstitious. Like I steer away from like talking all kinds of mess or like making bold predictions and stuff. They don't care. Like they're talking about like, and I understand
You
TikTok.
know why? Because they are not. They got at most 2 years of investment into this thing. This is all fresh.
Yeah. It's just like for me, it's like I always if I did that and then the team lost, I would like feel responsible, you know. But I guess they're just they're so sure already that they have it in the bag that they're not even like considering that, which like I said earlier at the top of the show, like I think it's admirable to be confident, but I'm just saying you better not lose. Better not.
I
That'd be
mean,
bad.
the people care about Messi. Like that's about it. It's cool. It's tight. I don't like that's tight. He's cool. He's a cool player. Can't really be
He
mad
is.
at him. They're gonna chirp, but like they're not gonna follow. They're not gonna follow Inter Miami after this. Like, who cares?
You think it's like there is actually a distinction there between like the Inter Miami fans and then the people that are specifically
The
Messi
people who
fans.
are watching the 5DP era before this 5DP era, where they actually got fined for it and it was a bunch of random players. Yeah, like that's cool. That's tight. That's awesome. There are real Inter Miami fans. Like there are people who
there were people that were there was a lot of
Miami.
people. There were a lot of people going to those games when Blaise Matuidi was
Yeah,
there,
dude. Yes. But I think
It's going crazy. I'm just like
Iguain
I just wanted to look at the chat right now. This is crazy.
which
Ours?
chat?
On TikTok.
Yours. No, even on the YouTube.
Oh yeah, chat. Say hi, chat. So everyone say hi to Jeremiah. Yeah, our chat's great.
Yeah, that's great. It's great.
Are they allowed to exchange an Argentina kit? I assume if it has Messi on the back.
It specifically says an Inter Miami.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know. They might, maybe you can get it, but it does say trade in any Lionel Messi Inter Miami jersey.
got it.
The thing is, there are a ton of those. Like
there will be
outside
some
of
outside.
If you really
the
wanted, you
stadium.
could probably go to TJ Maxx or Ross or whatever
Yep.
and probably pick one up. Be real.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be pretty. See, chat saying hi. I bought an Inter bootleg for $20. That's. I feel like a lot of people are going to be bringing in their bootleg Messi jerseys.
I like that though. That's it's.
I mean, it's
getting in
legit,
on the bit.
I think. I feel like that should be legit.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Give them a real one. This is, and I think to not to extend the conversation to its depth, but like this is how you make new fans. Like this is how
Right,
you bring in a
exactly.
fan for Messi.
This is the
you
best
get
way
them
to
a
do it,
nice
yeah.
jersey, and you're cool. Done.
Right.
That's 100 new fans.
They were giving away tickets for First One on Us or whatever. This is
Yeah.
like that and this are two great no notes. These are great programs.
Good job, Sounders. We love you.
Good job. Yeah.
Good job for recognizing a great idea when you hear it.
Exactly. All right,
Shout
Ari,
out-
what's the score prediction? Come on. You can't leave chat without it.
Man.
And if you're wrong, you have to get a tattoo.
Okay, so while you filibuster, I just want to add something. This does put some pressure on the Sounders to actually re-sign Rothrock, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Agent's like, yeah.
They're going to be doing
all right.
another jersey
His
exchange.
agent has got to be loving this. It's like,
Yeah.
you don't play these games with me.
And
Don't
like
play these games.
not like the promo, but then also, if Seattle does win this game, the quote of they have Messi, but we have Paul Rothrock. I think that's already in the pantheon, even if they lose, frankly.
Yeah.
And if they win, it's like in the
Can that
tier
be
of,
added to the No Sadietes intro?
Yeah. Sure.
It'll be up there with like better than
We
Bob.
might have to
and, like,
recut the whole thing. Yeah.
Better than Bob. It is better. That's better than Bob.
5 gifted from Michael. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. That's huge.
Let's go. 5 gifties.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks, Michael.
Prediction. I don't know. The more I've been
I love how we just like fired something off without any thought, and you're sitting here. It's been
Ari
'cause I'm-
hates
2
to be
hours.
because the brigade's ready to get him.
It's because I'm superstitious. I don't like to jinx stuff, and I kind of think.
All
Seattle's
right.
gonna
If you're
win this, so.
superstitious, we don't want you to jinx it.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
I will.
about it.
Is the brigade into this game? How's the brigade feeling about this one?
They're rooting for Seattle to lose for sure, so they can do transfer. They can fire up the transfer discourse.
No,
again.
if Georgie plays, they want Georgie to do well. The brigade is somehow pro.
Is Georgie the guy that's their guy right now?
I feel like a lot of them are
Oh.
pro Georgie, but I think a lot of people are pro Georgie.
It's hard not to be pro Georgie.
It's hard. Yeah, I hope he. If he got some run today, that would probably mean Seattle's ahead. So
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
Here,
But,
Ari, I've got
I don't know if that's
something
what that means actually.
Oh.
If
Or it
Georgie
could be-
plays, I don't think they're putting Georgie on to
Close it.
secure a win. I think
Oh, I
they're
was thinking more of just like, if they're up by a lot, like get
sure.
guys like a moment or whatever. But you're
Here-
right.
here-
Like he could come on if they're chasing a goal as well.
Here's the question.
Yeah.
Does this finish in regulation or does this go to penalties?
I would not be cool with that. I do not want this in. I want no part of penalties on this.
That would.
This is a
That's-
regulation.
that
win
might-
for sure.
It's turning a fun night into a nightmare.
What if they win in penalties? Then it's
Winning in penalties is great, but the
No shots on
value
goal. Let's win
proposition
in
on penalties
penalties.
is not good.
No shots on net.
no. I want no
winning in
part of-
penalties.
I don't. I mean, it could always finish. It could be like a crazy shootout game that finishes level. But like, I don't think
ADT saved penalty against Messi.
this doesn't strike me.
Andrew
as,
T. I'm sorry. Apologies. Sorry.
This doesn't strike me as a matchup where it's going to be like super cagey and defensive the whole time. Like I think it's going to be up and down. There's going to be chances. They're going to be going for it. It's definitely there's going to be no dynamic of like anyone acting like Club Puebla or Minnesota
no.
United out there.
No.
Like,
That's
that's just not.
I think
No,
this
This
is
is going
actually,
to be an electric final. Like
Yeah.
Jeremiah, you said it perfectly, where you said there will not be a better final in MLS Cup unless it's a rematch of this. Because you're right, it's two like high octane offenses. One has a good defense, one doesn't. Like they basically just don't have a defense. So it's going to be just like goals galore. Hopefully,
It is straight to pens, everybody. I was adamant that there was extra time on the last show, and then I was dead wrong. So
it's straight.
it
to
does
pens.
go straight to pens. For some reason, I had it twisted. I thought that the final had extra time, but it doesn't. So if it's a draw after 90, it goes straight to pennies where they have Lionel Messi, but Seattle has Andrew Thomas. So something to think about.
the
Something to
reality
think
is that
about.
Messi only gets to shoot once. Andrew gets to be back there for every taker. So
We don't
Think
even
about
need to. There's not going to be penalties. This is gonna get decided. It's gonna get decided in regulation. Trying to will that into existence because none of us want to sit there through penalties. That does sound like pretty torturous. It was torturous
That's-
enough in the Puebla game.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I'll be leaving the room.
Just
I'll be leaving the PB.
vacate the PB.
I'm sure you guys, the Manchester United coach was sitting there on the sideline. You know, they had a penalty to win the game at the end of the game yesterday against highly touted Burnley, and
Yeah, where they were like celebrating winning the PK in the end. Yeah, that was
yeah,
crazy.
but the coach just could not even watch.
That's it. Like the Puebla goalkeeper during that shootout had his back turned for every shot that his team took, and I was like, yeah, I relate to that.
I just it couldn't do it, man. It's better to not know.
Just go off crowd reaction.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just hear it. Yeah, no pennies, no pennies. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Let's see. I mean, yeah, I don't have any other topics. We're just freestyling at this point. We've been ripping for like 2 hours. So
I
mean,
still haven't had my
there's
morning coffee. I can't believe I agreed to do this without getting coffee. I had
haven't
to
had
throw a
coffee
shirt on
either,
just
so.
bad decision
I
by
was
you
like-
guys.
writing checks that my body wasn't ready to cash.
I've already tossed back.
Man, holy shit. Charlie Baum going fucking 5K words on Inter Miami on Sounder at Heart, huh?
Oh yeah, we're pulling out the big guns.
Let's go.
This is content.
What was Jo? What was CB's Miami piece about?
I mean, it's sort of just it was sort of just framing the contrast with the Sounders and how they built their roster, and I mean, it was very complimentary of it. But I felt like we needed a Miami piece. You know, we needed something that looked at the Miami side of things, and who better to do it than Charlie Baum?
Oh, absolutely.
He's goated.
It's a very like unique to this specific moment and this specific final like component of it. Like there's always novelty to making a final, but making a final where you're playing the literal GOAT, that's like it's just
Yeah,
something different.
and you know, and we've talked about this already, but one of the things I love about the Sounders right now is that even though they are, you know, you could frame it as this scrappy young team who's just happy to be here, but they're playing in a way that does not, like, they're scoring goals in bunches. They're playing this very confident brand of soccer that sort of belies the scrappy nature of their roster, right? Like that goal, that D-row goal is not they
That's
figured
not a
it
tap
out.
in, dude.
Yeah. Like that, even the Pedro
I agree.
goal.
I think that they took pieces. I've been saying this. They took pieces from every single one of their Club World Cup opponents and created a mashup of all of them. I mean, they're basically
I think
playing.
there's actually a lot of truth there. I think that they took a lot. I do think they genuinely took a lot of lessons from the Club World Cup. And you're right. I think that's they kind of like took bits and pieces from the various opponents and like, why can't we do this?
Like they have the press of PSG. They have like the kind of, I don't know, Atletico like work rate, and I guess PSG. I don't know. I feel like they took the most from PSG because this team is basically playing like mini PSG with their press
and like how they play in possession, I would say.
Yeah.
And I would say the other thing that they took was sort of, I think there was this realization of how important the margins really can be, in that understanding the moment, and that it's not about going all out for 90 minutes. It's about being really good about when you need to go all out. And I think they were just blown away at how effective teams were in going from defense to offense, and how ruthless there was, like a ruthlessness to all these opponents that they played, that I think that really resonated with them, and that they understood that it's like the skill level is not the real differentiating factor here. It's their ability to be, like I said, to be just ruthless, and to understand that there's little moments when you need to foul, and that there's a line that you have. And I think that's maybe why we're seeing this recent spat of red cards, is because I think they are trying to find where that line is a little bit, and they're trying to see, like, what can we get away with, and it's not so, and that's why I don't think it's them crashing out. I think it's them sort of like maybe playing on the edge a little bit.
Well, it's something that has become part of their identity over this last stretch since the Club World Cup is the relentlessness, right? Like that's, I think, the biggest thing that honestly stands out to me when I watch this team play right now. It is the press, but like it's how the press kind of speaks to the mentality that they're playing these games with, which is like, we're not going to give anybody an inch. We're going to be on top of you the whole time. We are going to be putting you under pressure the entire game. And you better be ready for it. Otherwise, we're gonna smother you. We're gonna force you into mistakes. Yeah. We're gonna win the ball in dangerous areas, and then we're gonna be equally relentless and ruthless on the counter. And I think there is a line that you need to find with that maybe like in that moment against Gabriel Peck, knew who he was up against the line, ended up upon slowed down VAR with the freeze frame and the zoom in, crossed the line. But what I'm hoping from this, I hope they start this game like exactly like they did the Galaxy game. One of my under the radar favorite things about the Galaxy game was how they started it. You guys notice that, how off kick they immediately were just going for it. Like, it's a small thing. It's not like that led to a goal immediately or anything. But to me, that's like it kind of almost did, but it's a statement of
purpose,
statement of intention,
mentality. Yeah, exactly. So,
yeah, I just wanted to add this little bit. The two parts of the Galaxy game that I thought were just really so illustrative of what they were doing was the first goal where Paul Rothrock is making this run and he has no business at all getting to that rebound, but he goes after it anyway. And
he's a dog. He's a dog
that creates the chaos, because it wasn't a particularly tough play. D-Row puts a decent shot on, but the goalkeeper's going to save that every single time. And it wasn't a bad rebound either. It wasn't like it was this crazy loose rebound, but I just don't think it didn't register in their head that the guy on the wing is going to come flying in and try to win this. And
oh no, the Nikovic or whatever their goalkeeper's name is, that didn't even enter his mind. He literally gave his defender the here, just stay back there. I got it. Right. Because it didn't even occur to him that Pauly Primetime was flying in from out of left field to make that play happen. But that play is another example of what I was talking about, is just like that relentlessness that if they channel that and they play like that today, it doesn't mean they're going to win the game. But I think if they just kind of play even close to that level with that type of energy and intensity, they'll give themselves a fighting chance, even against a team like this.
And then the other part of the game that I thought was illustrative of how they are playing these days is after they went down to 9 men, or after 10 men, the way that they didn't drop into, everyone usually when in that situation, they put 5 in the back and they just sort of, and they have one forward and they sort of just play this, like a 5-3-1 type of formation. The Sounders played like a 3-3-3, and they had 3 players up at the front line of the defense harassing Galaxy every single, there was no room to breathe. They just were not going to let the Galaxy get back into the game. And I just thought that was such an aggressive and exciting way to close out that game, and saying look, we aren't going to let you just pump in crosses and create chaos. If you're going to be throwing in crosses, you're going to throw them out from 20 yards further than you want to. And our goalkeeper is just going to eat them up. And Jackson Reagan's just going to eat them up. And Kim Keehee and Yamar. And, I just love the way that they went for it right there. And that's how I want the Sounders to be playing. I think that's what's so exciting about this team. And for me, this is the most fun I've ever had watching the Sounders. And I'll include 2014 in that, when that was a lot of fun, but it was sometimes it was just the Clinton Oba show. And this is something totally, totally different.
You are stacked top to bottom. I mean, you are stacked. You have 2 best 11 caliber center backs. You have Alex Roldan, who I think has been under the radar sleeper, really, 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 really good this season. And you have the best center mid pairing in the entire league by far. I don't give a shit about Messi. I don't care where he plays on the field. He can't compare to those guys. And then you have 7,000 wingers. You have a full team of wingers. You've got a European winger who beefed with the Fenerbahce, and you've got Pedro de la Vega, and you've got Paul Rothrock, and you've got Jesus Ferrer. You effectively have like 20 DP wingers on this team, and then you have, when Jordan's healthy, granted.
You have
really
Danny
good striker.
Musovski, though.
Or Danny Musovski, or De Rizar. I mean, like, it's just, this is the deepest team in MLS, but more than that, like, it's the most complete team. And I think that is also like credit to Brian Schmetzer, who has crafted this incredible like game plan and like ethos of the Sounders this season to be attacking and fun and fast. And also shout out to Craig Weibel, who a lot of people don't like, but who has built a great roster.
Craig has done a very good job with his roster, even if he's a little mad at me right now.
Oh,
Ooh. Didn't like the presser questioning?
I don't know. You know how these things are.
Yeah,
that's okay. He's definitely pro Lobbing Scorchers, hopefully, because we're defenders.
I definitely
he said
think
he would do the pod in the press box, even though he was just trying to get away from me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I'll do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely think this team is they're playing the game at a higher level than I've ever seen a Sounders team play, just in terms of the quality of the footy, the press, the chance generation, the amount of goals that they're scoring.
And I know that I guess Leagues Cup isn't supposed to technically count for this, but every year I've said something like, Brian Schmetzer deserves more credit for Coach of the Year, but I don't actually vote for him. Like when it comes down to it, I don't know if I've ever voted for him. I just want him to be in the running because I think he's doing a better job than he gets credit for. This year, I think he has to be. He's the Coach of the Year right now. I don't want to hear about Bradley Carnell, and I don't want to hear about Pat Noonan. And
Carnell is going to get it. They're going to give it to Carnell.
Of course, they're going to give it to Carnell. But I don't want it. Like this is. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
He's gonna get it.
I know.
Bradley Crapnell. Am I right, chat?
Exactly.
I was just going over
Did we do the lineup
candidates.
builder yet?
We didn't bust out the builder, but yeah.
I know there was like 20,000 questions about how the Sounders are going to line it up. I know Jeremiah knows exactly how it's going to line up because
I already have
Brian
it.
Schmetzer. When he pulls off his mask, he just walks down, and he is Brian Schmetzer. He knows exactly how.
I already have it set up how I think how they're going to do it. I mean, would you offer any amendments to this?
That is how they're going to line up.
That is how they're going to line it up. There you have it, folks. It's going to be RBW starting for Nuhu, who famously will not be featuring in this game. You got your Jackson Reagan, Yamar center back pairing with your Alex Roldan at the right back. You got your classic double pivot, and then your front four of Pedro de la Vega, Jesus Ferreira at the 10, Paul Rothrock on your right wing, and Osaze Shake and Bake Rosario up top.
Ferreira 10, baby. He's going to be dime dishing.
This is I think this is the right lineup, and I think this is a lineup will they get a result? I don't know. That's what we're going to find out today. But
they do, is it not hilarious that this this lineup would cook Messi and the Barca Boys?
Let's take a second and talk about this. They've got 3 players who were literally born in Seattle in this roster. They've got another player who moved here when he was 13. They've got 2 players who went to college, who moved here for college. And then they got a guy that and then they got 2 more players that they developed in Andrew Thomas and Osaze de Rosario. There's only 3 players on this roster who are like normal, for lack of a better term, MLS type of acquisitions. Pedro de la Vega, Jesus Ferreira, and Yamar. Everyone else, they basically built.
Not bought, baby. Come on.
Isn't it crazy to be going into a game of this magnitude with Osaze starting up top and like actively being like, I can't
Like, I'm fine.
wait. I can't wait to watch him play. I think even just the last game against the Galaxy, I felt like he was in his bag with stuff that I hadn't really seen from him yet, as far as just kind of like the runs he was making and like those plays where, like the play in particular where De La Vega got around Yoshida and Osaze kind of just ran in from off screen and
50-yard
got
run.
onto it, and then like gives himself a wide open breakaway that got saved. And I think watching it back again yesterday, I think they got De La Vega for a phantom foul on Yoshida that if Osaze had made that, I don't think it would have counted anyway. But just that type of run, I'm looking at that and I'm like, wow, he's like way more dynamic and got more in his bag than I thought. And I'm
You don't
really
score that
excited.
many goals in Next Pro, you know, without
I'm really excited to see like if he puts in another performance like that where he's getting into so many dangerous places. I think the odds, you know, I think his finishing clearly is not fully refined, but the odds that he gets one if he just is in that many dangerous spots, I think are decently good. And I'm just excited to watch him today. Which, you know, if you had told me before the season, like Seattle's going to be in a Leagues Cup final, but the injury and suspension situation is going to be such that Osaze is going to be getting the start up top, and it's also going to be against Messi and the Barca Boys, I would be like, I don't feel good about that. But with how Osaze's looked lately, like I said, actively excited to watch it.
So I want to just real quick. This is something that Tim and I worked together on last year about Osaze that I think illustrates how far he's come this year. So we did these year review players of all the Defiance guys, and we this is what we said about him if it all works out. Once an up-and-coming star in Canada, De Rosario is not necessarily young by football standards anymore, but if he can make a habit of playing like he did against Barbados or during the runs of games in the summer, he could be a legitimate option, a striker for the Sounders. At his best, he's shown an ability to be a threat in the box, a target for set pieces, and capable of using his size and technique to create opportunities for his teammates. Even if he can't climb to the heights of becoming Seattle's starting striker, he could certainly be a legit death piece. That's actually much more complimentary of him than I thought we were going to be. But he was a player who I was not 100% sure was going to be back last year.
Yeah, it wasn't really talked about that much to my memory. He really only started tearing it up in Next Pro like at the start of this season. Isn't that?
Yeah. Yeah. He had 6 goals in like 1,200 minutes last year, which is not horrible, but it's not anything.
It's not like jumping off the page. And then this year he started out insanely hot. They had the Jordan injury brought him up, and I don't know, like just the run that he's been on in this tournament. That's kind of what's fun about a tournament like this is, you know, we can talk about the how important it is in the pantheon of trophies and stuff, but it, like, you know, for it to give a platform for a player like this to have sort of a breakout opportunity, I think that's pretty cool. And it's like you can just see how that goal, the shake and quake goal, is just like a young up and coming player who is just so hungry to make it and isn't going to be denied. And it's fun. It's easy to root for a guy like that.
Yeah.
True. I fear that the Paul Rothrock jersey is going viral already. The Paul Rothrock jersey swap it's popping.
Good.
Okay.
It's hitting the algo, and I think that this might be the best promotion the Sounders have ever done.
I think so. Well, just in terms of like comedic premise, like I think this is it's got to be the best one. How are you guys feeling about RBW? I think that's the main thing to talk about with this.
I love RBW.
Yeah, I feel like RBW is getting graded on a curve, to be honest with you. And I think it's a curve that's working against him because I think there's this weird mix of people that know him that like actually know him from his youth, and so they don't want to be too homerish about it. But there has been this hype around him in terms of it being him being like a national team, kind of like in the youth national team, and he was on, he had some trials in Europe, and I think there's this expectation that he was just that it's like there's this belief that he's not really hitting the mark, and I just think he's a really solid player. Maybe not the finished product yet, but I'm feeling okay about it. I think he's a better defender than the haters say. He's maybe not quite as dynamic going forward as we'd like him to be, but he's he's still capable of dropping dimes every now and then.
His defense is getting better. Like, I will say that. There was a few instances earlier in the year, like where it was like positioning stuff, like getting caught out on a ball over the top. That happened a couple times in the Atletico Madrid game, but I think the fact that people were that bent out of shape over that is like pretty silly. I mean, it was against Atletico Madrid, so the fact that he had to bust his ass back to cover a couple of counters and maybe got beat on a couple of them should not be as mind-blowing as it was to some people. But I think that in the last few times, at least, that we've gotten to see him play, I think that's looked better. And I fully trust that he's not going to be like the reason the team loses the game or anything like that. Like, I'm pretty sure that he's going to be good for the moment and compete to the best of his abilities, which is all I want from him. So I'm not like super. Obviously, it would be great to have Nuhu in there. Nuhu versus Messi. Also, just the general defensive presence that he brings would be helpful. But I believe in RBW. I think that's pretty much. Unless you guys had anything else on this lineup.
No, I think that's good to me.
All right, fire.
Chat. Wait. We got to promo the pull up the Instagram thing with our.
Oh
party.
Yeah, I did that already, but I'll do it again because there's a lot more people.
Exactly.
The
now.
Dolly Parton
party. The party.
Oh.
What? Yes, Dolly Parton.
Are you streaming on Insta too?
Instagram and TikTok, bro.
What is this? All right,
we're trying out new methods. We gotta pump the algo.
Here it is again. Pre-match party, fast fashion, Soto. Address
Kickoff's
right
at
there.
5. I fucked up the
Kickoff's-
graphic, but
Noah fucked up the graphic. It should say 5 o'clock, not 4 o'clock. But everything else here is accurate, including the location and the start time. We're gonna be heading. Lobbing Scorchers head down to Pioneer Square area right after this. So maybe you'll see us down there. But
I'll be there.
If you're gonna, okay, we see Jo's gonna be there.
did we confirm a special guest, or is that still on the rocks?
So I thought there was gonna be. It might be. I'll tell you know what, I'm gonna tell him that there's no show, so that might help.
Yeah,
yeah, it's just hanging out.
We don't need him to
You
be on
just
a
tell him
show.
No, we're just hanging out. Does fast fashion allow kids? I think so. Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
It's all
Yeah, it's all ages. Yeah.
All ages.
And people asked about food. I don't.
They have
know.
They have an awesome pizza program actually.
Okay, they have pizza,
There's
but there's
pizza.
also a sandwich shop like across the street, Paseo
There's
or whatever.
Picado or not Picado Bueno. It's
Isn't it Paseo or something?
Paseo.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's
it's-
Paseos across there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, it's
Oh,
yeah,
I love that. I used to live by the one in Fremont and went there all the time.
yeah. So there's like there's good food options. There's good food options.
Good food options. Great proximity to the field. Everyone hanging out. One last hurrah before the Leagues Cup final. It's gonna be sick. Don't miss out. And that's the promo for our pre-match party. I think I'm about ready to wrap up this show here, guys. We're coming up on 2.5 hours, and
Yeah, I think
I feel
my wife is probably ready to kick me out of the house.
You need coffee, bro.
Yeah,
Don't forget
get-
coffee.
Get
worry.
caffed up,
Don't worry.
and ready to go. Big game today. Like the video and sub to the channel if you have not. Those are two important things that you can do to pump us into this big
Dude.
algo day for us.
Big
You're
alligator.
I just am realizing how insanely crazy some of your Instagram posts have gone.
Oh yeah, easily.
You should see the TikTok.
That would require me downloading TikTok, which maybe I need to do.
Yeah, I mean it's the worst comments section, I think. But we love our TikTok comments.
We love TikTok. We love TikTok. Say good things about TikTok. We're streaming
Love
on TikTok.
TikTok.
You know
We're-
they listen to everything we say. We love TikTok.
We love TikTok.
Stay
Everyone-
hydrated.
We're getting close to the coveted 1K on TikTok. So
Please
toss a
follow us on
there.
TikTok.
Please
We need
follow.
10K to monetize TikTok. So please.
That's so many. What?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on. Well, that's even more of a reason to
Yeah, just if everyone on here just were to register for like 15 accounts, we would be there.
No. We can't do that. We can't. Don't do that. We're gonna get banned on TikTok after this live stream. Damn.
everyone remember to stay hydrated. That's right. That's right. Good advice from Sam.
Get us
All
out
right.
of here. Get us out of
Yeah.
here.
Come on, Ari, you're killing us.
We got
All right.
Messi. They got Messi, but we got Paul Rothrock.
Exactly.
They got
All
Messi,
right.
but we got Paul Rothrock.
We'll see all you guys at Fast Fashion, and then we'll see you on the other side.
Some people come to Lumen Field for the tactics, for the soccer, the atmosphere, and some come for Paul Rothrock's hair. Me personally, I come for both, because I have agendas to push. Live soccer isn't just better, it's way more personal. From making friends to becoming the guy in your section that's just constantly yelling about advanced statistics. Get tickets to any Sounders match by visiting lobbingscorchers.com/tickets. You support the pod, our agendas, the vibes, and the chaos.